Death, again, is no match for love. Death loses to love every single time. It's up to us to keep the love alive, keep that going, to keep the fire, the embers of that into a full-fledged conflagration.
Today, I am so grateful and honored to be joined by Michael Cogdill. He's an Emmy-winning journalist and author, happily newlywed. Michael's work has reached millions through NBC, MSNBC, CNN, and his award-winning books. His latest book includes a children's story about a wise nana and a horse, and it shows through storytelling and helps us guide us through loss and reminds us we're not alone. So honored to welcome you to Nose to My Nervous System.
Great title, by the way. I love that. Erin, I'm very honored to be here. So honored to join you today. You and the audience.
I appreciate that. I like to just get down to it. So what first drew you to writing for children? And was there a moment that spoke to you?
There was. This was years ago. And I was on the air at the time, and I didn't have time to do it. I started my first book on a cardboard box in the garage.
Oh, my goodness.
After a trip to Hilton Head Island, I'd seen a young man in a power wheelchair out on the beach. Young man. I don't think he'd ever taken a solitary step his entire life. And you sometimes you go on vacation and you're working hard, and you get your backside in the sand and your mind off in the wilds of every kind of worry, and you're not really there. You're not really appreciating what you've been given. I look at him, and I looked at my legs and thought, they work. And I take them for granted. I take all of this for granted. Stop taking it for granted. So I started writing a little book called Cracker the Crab and the Sideways Afternoon. On a cardboard box in the garage, and it's all about the fact that crabs walk sideways. And it has a very strong anti-bullying theme. I was blessed to go into literally hundreds of schools and churches, touch the lives of tens of thousands of school children with the message, is it ever okay to make fun of someone in a wheelchair? And of course, the children say, absolutely not. That's crazy. Because every time somebody makes fun of you because of who you are, how you look, how you walk, how you dress, what your mother or father does for a living, it's every bit as wrong. And it reaches them. You would see it come up in their eyes, especially in those Title I schools where most of the children are on free breakfast and free lunch in this country. It resonated. That got me started. And that's what started me as a children's writer. I was writing a novel at the same time, but writing for children makes a better writer out of any writer. It really does.
I love that. I love that story. I worked for years in Chicago public schools in the Title I, so I know exactly what you're talking about. What is it that makes you a better writer, makes you want to do the storytelling when it comes to children? Why do you feel that is something that forces that creative envelope? And why did you go with the bullying and feeling safe?
I am an ACOA, Erin. My father was a very, very violent in his day, alcoholic. I grew up with that as our family secret. My first memory as a child is watching my father. I was 3.5, watching my father beat my mother unmercifully on the floor. And I remember her, she got him off of her. My mother was a very athletic woman. Scooped me up, took me to the bedroom. There was blood all over me. I don't know whose blood it was, mine or hers. And that got me started on all kinds of writing, the novel as well. Fast forward through high school, I was a very quiet kid, but I wanted to be on TV. And I was a small town boy from Western North Carolina, and people would say, they never let people like you on television. Are you stupid?
Really?
But I didn't believe that. I didn't believe them. And I had a couple of teachers who really encouraged that, who said, you can do whatever you set your mind to if you work hard enough at it. Sure enough, by the grace of God, it happened. But I carried the memory, I carried the codependency of that childhood with me. I carried it into my first marriage. I had to unlearn many things. And just as a point of pride, point of love, my dad hit bottom when I was 17 and bounced into the most beautiful man you would ever meet in your life. He and my mom had 25 grand years together. And he was so remorseful. He made amends throughout. But I tell audiences in my speaking, don't use him as an example. If a man raises his hand to you, run. If he even offers to, run, ladies. Don't put up with it. And that's the central message. I have human dignity as a central message to everything I try to do, especially among women. And I became a caretaker of my mom when I was a little kid, and that's not a little kid's job.
No, it's not.
And so if you're doing it, and I want to hear yours. I define codependency as the willingness to do for people what they are more than willing and must learn to do for themselves. It
Couldn't
took me a
say that
long
better.
time to figure that out, and my wonderful wife is the same way. We are both recovering codependents, and so in children's work and in adult novels, that theme of respect yourself, disbelieve those who don't respect you, move apart from that, answer a calling that you can just barely hear it. It's so high, and believe that you can run your way upward, not downward into the swale of what causes all of that. My dad was a child of shame, Great Depression, raised in poverty, and he had to shed the shame of it all. I'm a big believer in Brene Brown. I'm sure you've read
Oh,
everything she's ever written
I
so
love
high
her.
about the
Yes.
the power of shame to destroy a human life.
It's the only emotion that I feel just we need to evolve past. It
Correct.
doesn't provide
Correct.
any guidance or anything healthy when it comes to information for us.
There is nothing noble in shame. And
No.
it's especially destructive to men because men then internalize it and weaponize it against their own families, against the people they love. My dad did it, and he had to unlearn that. And the love of my wonderful mom helped with that. My mom, by the way, died in this room I'm sitting in
Oh,
5 years
so
ago, 5 years
sorry.
and a few days. But Erin, it was beautiful, it was peaceful. It was loving. She died with her hand in mine. So
Oh,
this is a hallowed place to me. And the theme of this new book is love. Death has no answer to love. Death is no match for love. Love overwhelms it. And so those we love, we adopt into ourselves and we carry them with us everywhere we go. So there is no benediction to love in death. And that has helped to get me through in many, many respects. My wonderful wife, the same way. Her father was an alcoholic, got into recovery, made a hero of himself in the recovery movement, loved his little girl so deeply. But he had his own torments, Aaron, and he took his own life when she was an adult.
so
It
sorry.
still is shattering to her. That's part of what drives her as a physician, a nurse practitioner, is to love and care for people, to lean into mental health as the center of all health. And we kind of answer that. We try to answer that calling as a couple as well.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing such deep and personal stories. Um, it's not easy to share those things. And so I really want to draw attention to that and say thank you. And
Right. You're so
also
kind. You're
for
welcome.
our, well, for our listeners, it's good for them to recognize that this is not always an easy topic and that
Correct.
sharing these stories, these personal stories, when it comes to mental health, can be overwhelming and we're
Mhm.
not comfortable with being vulnerable. So any
Correct.
example that we can share out in the world, I think is much needed and beautiful. So thank you.
You're so kind, and especially for men. So many men in this country are walking around with this volcano fomenting inside them, this hot lava of so many unrequited, undealt with emotions, undealt with shame that goes back into their, whatever is it, high school football, little league baseball, theater, whatever. Somewhere someone shamed him, and he's wearing it. He's harboring it, and won't deal with it. Won't journal it. Won't seek help. It's like it, gentlemen. Takes a man to seek professional help. You're a man, you're not a god. Seek professional help. Be better for yourself and the people around you. That's a central message to what I did when I was on the air and now that I'm off.
Thank you. That was beautiful. It's shame. It just becomes such a trauma root and it
Right.
just festers.
It
And,
does. It does.
and it's not something you can take care of yourself.
Nope. No, and it will get worse with time. Because we,
Absolutely.
we get into the company of those who like to press on the wound, press on the bruise, heap shame upon us, and it takes a real man to realize I didn't deserve that. I don't deserve to live like that, and the people around me certainly don't deserve to be the catch basins for my rage, for my shame. And I urge people, so much in evangelicalism, and I am a Christian, but I am not a supporter of this notion that there's a God who wants people living in violence, emotional or otherwise. If you are living in that sort of not just unhappiness, that sort of peril, that kind of indeed it is own kind of shame, run, get out, you matter. An absolute imperative, and I try to urge people toward that. And don't let your children see it either. Don't keep going back and taking them either.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Um, Before we run out of time, would you be willing to share a little bit of your book for us?
Oh yeah, the book.
Mhm.
Sure thing. I've got it right here. This book was illustrated by a bona fide superstar. His name is
Oh,
George
it's
Patchev.
gorgeous.
He was compared to Picasso and Chagall all over the world when he was 7 years old. He's now a 33-year-old Harvard grad working at Apollo. But you can see he could illustrate like this when he was about 18 months old.
Oh
Quite
my
literally.
goodness.
The first thing he sold, he was 18 months old.
And what is his name again?
George Patchev. He's Ukrainian. He's the son of Ukrainian immigrants. A wonderful young man. He's a bona fide genius. His emphasis at Harvard was statistics. Like really, yeah, he's just a great guy. And so this book is all about a little girl, her nana, and a horse named Joe. As we know, horses don't live as long as little girls who grow into young women and who gain lives of their own and must go. They must go and go to school. They must go and have a family. Well, Joe had to stay. So what ends up happening? Well, what you have here is a story of loss. But what's on the flip side of the loss? There's a Nana. And Nana proves herself very, very wise. And so in the end, Jess goes from a little girl to a grown woman. And here we go. And she asked out loud, "Where did my Joe go?" "Oh, he is so near," Nana hugged. "You and Joe will never part. Joe and you will play forever through the meadows of our hearts." Jess closed her eyes and smiled. "You know it's true," she said. "I see us now. By the river in the fields, I feel his gentle way, easing my broken heart to heal." Jess and Nana walked a long while in the shade by the river, and to smell the sweetness of the hay, swishing away the heat of the day. Into memories they often go, there to romp and ride and love with their sweet forever Joe.
Oh, that
Everybody's
was
got a Joe.
beautiful. Thank you.
You are so sweet. Everybody's got a Joe. You know, my mother was a Joe. My father was a Joe. I grieve them both, but I also celebrate them. I get to love them. They get to love me on. The death again is no match for love. Death loses to love every single time. It's up to us to keep the love alive, to keep that going, to keep the fire, the embers of that into a full-fledged conflagration, a beautiful one inside of us. That's what I hope this book will do for children and the child within us all, every one of
I
us.
certainly hope so. If people want to learn about the book, get the book, how do they find out how to reach
It's
you and
easy.
everything?
Heartstrongbooks.com. That's HEART books.com. That is our website. We have a wonderful sales agent, Bill O'Donnell. He ran publishing for Disney, was right hand to Bob Iger at Disney, then went on to National Geographic, ran publishing there. We have quite a great pipeline. So, and that book is sort of the headline piece right now on heartstrongbooks.com. And I would be honored if someone can reach out to me. I'll sign the book, send it to them, and they receive the audiobook read by me, such as I am, for free. They're at heartstrongbooks.com.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you again so much for
You're
sharing your
welcome.
time and your words of wisdom with us.
You are so welcome. And a parting word, I share this home with the love of my life, Miss Danette Cogdill. She is my reason for living. She is my being. Gentlemen, find that woman and love her. Love her from your hollows, love her from your depths, and love her out loud. That is what my wonderful wife deserves. And I love her. I love her. I love her always in threes.
So I can't even imagine how lucky she is and how loved she feels.
And how lucky I am. I'm a fortunate man, Aaron. Thank you so much. Thank you for the work you are doing to make this human race a far better one, a far more civilized one at that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you to my audience for spending time with me on Notes to My Nervous System. If this gave your brain a little breather, hit
I
follow,
hope.
leave a quick review, but no negative ones.
Correct.
And share this with a friend who can use some comment. Until next time, take a deep breath. Be kind to your own body.
Here's what I want you to take away from today's podcast. Love will outlast loss. Stories can heal. And if this gave you even a spark of hope, share it with someone who needs it. And please always be kind to your own wiring.